Right, so on the LBP website, lbp.govt.nz, you see down here where you can log in. So if you haven't logged in before, you need to go in here and create a login, which requires over here like a username and a password. So I will log on. So there we go, so it comes up over the corner there with your name, so you know you're the right person logged in. And when you first set up your login, you have a profile where you go in and you put your preferred name, your contact details, your email addresses and your postal addresses. You can also add details about your licensing, or that probably comes up. It tells you when your next invoice and annual submission is due and what classes you're licensed in. Any qualifications? Alright, so there we go. If you've done the National Certificate, oh, they don't know how to spell masonry. National Certificate in Masonry. Body corporate employer details. Oh, so just who working for. But as far as the skills maintenance, so if you get the letter saying your skills maintenance is due for renewal, you need to come on here on the skills maintenance. Now this is the part here where it says what your 2-year period is. So for Carl, it's the 31st of October to 2016 until the 31st of October of this year. So by the end of October of this year, he will have to have completed all of these. You will, however, get an invoice 1 year in 2017. He would have got an invoice. You can generally just pay that, but it's probably quite a good idea to get some of the electives and code words or on-the-job learnings underway, so by the time you come to the end of the 2-year period, you haven't got a heck of a lot to sort of go through. So we're just going to work through each stage to give you a bit of an idea of how you go about doing it. Now he has completed, as you'll see over here, he has completed all the quizzes to date. Normally if you log on for the first time, it will show you over here the code words that you have to do. They're compulsory. You can't claim points for those anymore. And here it would say start the quiz. So at first we'll go into one. So at first you click over this side. It will bring up the code words. You can go down and read it online. To open up the articles, do show more. Now there's no quiz in there, so show less. So you go through those articles, reading those. Some of them will be in relation to brick and block laying, but probably mainly not. But it's this part here, LBP Knowledge Link, that has the quizzes in that are relevant to you. So read the registrar's update. There's no quiz for there, so show less. Installing insulation in residential buildings. So you'll see here that is for the design, site, carpentry and foundation classes. So there, the quiz on that won't be, if there is a quiz, oh yes there is a quiz, it won't be, you won't need to do that one because you're not one of those classes. So this one here, skills maintenance, what you need to know. That sounds like one that's probably is relevant to everybody. So you open it up and as you see it's got a wee all there. So then you read the article and then you come down to the quiz here. Now I think it's just a helpful wee hint, while you're reading the article, have a pen and paper beside you and do the quiz now and make a note of your answers so that when you go back and go into start the quiz, you've already got your answers there, because here you can keep scrolling up and down sort of checking. So when does your new skills maintenance program start for me? So if you read it, it actually it is when you renew your next license. from memory. So you go through, you read them, you just go back and forwards, have a look at the article, and then at the end you can check your answers. So then it comes up with what the answers are for you. So that's why I say it's a good idea to do it before you've actually logged in, actually doing the quiz. You've had a read, you've had a go at what the answer is, and now you've double checked. So you can make sure you've got correct for this quiz 1C, 2B, 3A and 4C. Just go back. So there, so that one, so designer, disciplined for negligence and disrepute. I don't think there would be anything in there for us, but we'll double check. No quiz there, and an LBP. So obviously there's only one quiz in that. Sometimes there are 2 articles with 2 quizzes, and you know when you log, go back into your thing and you go in here start quiz, it will say 1 of 2 or 1 of 1. So if it says 1 of 2, you know you've got to do both quizzes. So what you would then just do is click here, it would say start the quiz, and you just go through, hopefully because you've got your answers beside you, you don't have to remember because the article doesn't come up in there, it's just the quiz, so you don't have the comfort of sort of, you know, scrolling up and down checking. So basically go through just as they come up. They're about every 2 months. This one here was in November. There has been a code word since then, but because none of it was related to brick and block laying, it won't come up on your when you log in, because nothing in it was to do with our trade. So good idea, rainy day, whatever, go in and do 2 or 3 at a time, and so you're sort of up to date, because you could, if you wait till the end of your 2-year period, you could have about 10 of them to do. So next rainy day, go online and give it a wee go. We'll leave the on-the-job learning, that's just a wee bit, that's the one that's changed mostly, so we'll leave that till nearer that to the end. So the elective, so over here it says how many points you're required for your 2-year period, which is 12. Every one under the brick and block laying class is 12. How many have been provided, so he hasn't put any in as yet, and it shows how many are needed. So if you put one in, say after tonight, I'll send you a certificate of attendance, which will be worth 2 points. So if you go in and put that in, that would come up with 2 there, and that would now say 10. So what you do is you click add, you're wanting to add an elective, and then scroll down. Now it brings up all the different activities that you can do, which are like activities approved by the registrar, apprenticeship supervising. Now obviously if you have an apprentice, you can't claim 40 hours a week. 1 point equates to 1 hour. So something like 4, 6, maybe even 8 points if you had, you know, a couple of apprentices, you could claim for that. Bonus point, not sure what that is. Committee representation, so if you were, say, on the board of the BBFNZ, you could claim points for that. If you attend conference, if you come to the afternoon session, you could claim 4 points. If you go to the full day, you could claim 8 points. Discussion groups, so if you sort of have meetings with sort of builders talking about you know, the design or what have you, and how the brickwork's going to work, you can claim for those. LBP assessor, if you happen to be one of those. Lecturing, if you take lecturing. Attend area meetings. Mentoring, so if you have staff that are under your supervision, you're mentoring them, you're sort of going back after meetings like this, and you're, or you know, anything new that you learn, like the control joint stuff, you'll be teaching your staff, so that's mentoring. You can claim some points for that, something like 4. Private individual study, publications, they don't want to see a whole variety, the whole 12 points on the Placemakers magazine, etc. Try and have a bit of a variety. Seminars, workshops, so that's what you would click for tonight. You'd click that, seminars, workshops. Service to the industry, so if you're on any, if you say the rep for Canterbury, you could claim some points for that. structured on-the-job learning, if you're doing tertiary education, or if you go to like a site safe course, a first aid course, workplace safety course. So for tonight, we'll tick seminars workshop, so the date, click the wee calendar. You can scroll right back to the beginning, you know, of when your 2-year period starts. So the meeting's tonight, the 28th, so you would just click the 28th and it comes up there. You would type in 2 points, and then just a wee brief description. So I'm just going to write NZ MTA Skills Maintenance Workshop. Now if you do things via post and you're going to post the certificate of attendance that I send, I'll email to you after tonight. If you were going to print that off, post it to them, you would tick there. However, if you want to upload it, if you save it into your documents on your computer, you would tick browse and that will come into my documents. So you could go into LBP, you might keep it in there and you would choose whatever. It's not there, so I'm just giving an example. And then you would just click, you would highlight, it would say certificate of attendance. You highlight it, then click open, and you will see there it goes there, it's coming there. So it will say certificate of attendance.
You have to put one running with each one,
Yes. For each of your 12 points.
Okay.
You have to, you have to have evidence.
How would you put that for me?
Actually, you probably would just sort of make a bit of more of a detail up in here and not upload something.
Yeah.
So if it's something you've got evidence of, you know, that it is like a certificate or photos or what have you, you can upload it. I doubt that they would come back and sort of question. If you put a wee bit more, you just have to have a wee bit more information, you know.
You can't upload it.
Yes, yeah, just write a wee bit more about it. Good point, Tony, no one else asked that. And so then when you feel as if you're completed, you've added everything, or you might just put in the short description there, no evidence to it, you know, just, yeah. Then you would just click the bottom right hand corner, update. It's just slowly moving. Still on. I just wanted to show you that it would sort of come up and show now, sort of 10. Update again, I might have to cancel it. Right, so it has uploaded, so there it goes there, so I can delete that, which I will, because obviously it's not here and you can have the evidence. So you can then, after you've added it, if you want to add a bit more, or they come back to you and say, look, we add a bit more, you can go in and edit it, add a bit more, change some things, or you can delete the whole thing, which what I'll do. But you'll see up here, it now says, because you claimed 2 points that you've already provided 2, you've only got 10 more to do. So I will delete that. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. And it will just go back to being still, oh no, it has no records to display. So that will, I assume, update at some point. I'll sort that out later on. So 12 points. So you can, just some examples, you can, you know, like as I said, the conference, meetings. So the NZMTA, we're going to be doing 5 meetings a year. So there's 10 points already for 1 year. So try and have a bit of variety though, as I say, you know, do a few other things, attend other bits and bobs. Most have to do the site safe or a first aid, just include a bit of variety. But I don't think it's too hard to get you 12 points, especially through being a member, because we are sort of providing all those different meetings for you. So then we'll go on to the on-the-job learning. This one here. So you need 2 on-the-job learning examples over the 2-year period. Now it is a wee bit different to what I thought they were expecting. It does seem to be watered down a wee bit, but we'll go in and have a look at one. So once again, you click the add. You're going to add an example. So the project building site. So I sort of recommend to people that if you do a bit of brick and block, do one of the jobs as block, one of them as brick. But if whatever you do, but just, you know, a bit of variety if you can, but otherwise, you know, not if it's both veneers. If it is veneers and one's a standard one, maybe try and choose one that's got a gable or some lintels or something, so you can talk a wee bit about or show that you're doing different stuff. So in this one here, you would put the building site, may have the consent number, might be like Oamaru Retirement Village or Parklands Retirement Village, you know, 444 Smith Street, Christchurch, building consent number. Then you come down to date completed. If it's got a record of work, if you've provided a record of work for that job, I would put that date, same date as the record of work, or approximately when you did the job. If you did it November last year, choose the date in November when you think you might have finished it. Well, yeah, so you can just sort of select a date, click that. Now these are the bits here that you need to add a little bit more about it. And sorry, in this top one here, I would probably add brick veneer cladding or you know, 20 series masonry retaining wall, supply landfill or solid filled, so that they just know a wee bit more about the project. Right, so the regulatory knowledge, you need to just put a few sentences about what regulatory knowledge you used or needed to know working on that job. I will send through, after tonight's meeting, these notes which have got lots of different examples for you. So say it was a brick veneer cladding, you could say the cladding meets the building code clause B2 for durability, which is the 15-year durability that your work has to last for, or building code. I'm going to send them out to you, so don't worry about taking too many notes. I've added quite a few. Building code clause E2, external moisture, with a cavity and what have you. Or you could list the council engineer inspections undertaken and name, you know, as per, or half-height brick inspection as per Selwyn District Council requirements. That the blockwork or the cladding meets standard 4210 or the handbook 4236 for masonry veneer cladding. So it's just things that legally your work has to meet those standards. So if I can think of any more, I'll add to them, but I think there's sort of enough in there for you to choose. You only need to put one thing. So like, you know, the cladding meets building code clause E2, external moisture. Technical knowledge, the next one. So this is where you can talk about if you've done something different. So if you're working in a sea spray zone, you could say sea spray zone, use stainless steel ties. If you're working in a high wind zone, what the requirements were for that, earthquake zone requirements, the cavity width that you used, the inspection requirements, half-high, lintel inspection, control joint method and requirements that you used for veneer and or structural, lintel bars and flashings, what overlap that the overlaps were requirements as per SNZ 4236, tie spacing requirements as per the standard, flashings around openings and pipe works were completed, block fill MPA that you have used, whether you use the high-low lift method for block fill, clean outs as per drawings. These are just all examples, there's a whole list of them. Reinforcing type, placement method used, etc, etc. If you did stack bond, veneer, anything a bit different, say special features like keystones, stone lintels, arches, etc. They would all just go in there, and you just list a couple of sentences, you know, what you did. Health and safety, well, we all do that. Fairly much so. You might just say PPE in use as required. You might talk about dust extraction method if you've got vacuum happening or dry cutting. Scaffold, checking that the scaffolding meets the code of practice for Scaffolding Association. Worker welfare, especially over the heat, you might just put extreme temperatures, workers were supplied with, or made sure workers were hydrated, sunscreen in use, that type of thing. Just one or two things about the health and safety that you were using on that job. And professional skills. So I've come up with and people might have other sort of ideas, and great, would really appreciate sort of hearing. The more we can list and sort of give examples to the members, the better it is and makes life easier for them. So I've done things like if you price the job, so I would just put pricing, price the job, measuring the job to be able to price it, quantities, if you worked out the quantities for the job, bricks, the block fill, whatever. Communication with the owners, the builders, the council. Problem solving, if you had a bit of a technical issue, not every job sort of goes perfectly according to plan. If there was a bit of an issue, put that you resolved a technical issue on site and just list what it was. Planning your work frames, time frames, completing the required paperwork, on the job learning, and LBP Skills Maintenance log. So I'll send those out to you all, heaps of examples, don't need to fill up the whole box, just one or two. One sentence would probably be enough, but if you want to add a couple of things. Now, once again down here, if you've got some evidence, if it was say photos, you could, you can only really upload one file, it seems. So, if you had a photo of that job, say if it was something a bit different, like a keystone or a stone lintel, or your lintel flashings, take a photo and you could, that's where you would browse, choose the photo that you want to upload, then click upload and it would sort of come up. Good idea, I think, if you're doing, say, one brick, one block. So for the brick one, you can actually upload the record of work for that job if you keep them electronically. And then I sort of, had said to the guys, maybe do the record of work for one of them, photo for the other, or an engineer's report or an inspection report. The record of work just shows that you did actually work on the job that you have specified up there. So that's really it. And then once you've uploaded that and you feel comfortable with it, you just click update, but it also has the ability to go back later on and edit and delete it if you've come up with another job that you would prefer. So really, with these things here are just the ones that I think, the guys have struggled a wee bit with. What on earth do I write there? So hopefully the examples I've given, and we'll be emailing out later on. Just keep those in your records and pull them out when it comes time to, and you'll soon get quite inspired with the right sort of wording. So, any questions from any of you, or you're all?
There's only two, isn't there? That one?
There's only two.
So one brick, one block, what you were saying before, that was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
And it's over the 2-year period.
Yeah.
So, record of work for one, if you've got a record of work, if you do more other bits and bobs, photos or what have you, just as evidence that you did sort of work on the job and that you have done some of the things in the technical knowledge section that you have actually sort of done them. They just want to see some evidence.
That's all well and good, like I can do all that, but like people like my dad who has to be an LBP, he's got no chance of doing that. Like making a file on his computer and being able to press browse and go into it.
That's right. So that that's why you can here. You can do it all by post.
Yeah, but like he doesn't see that. I'll send this evidence by post. He just looks at all those things.
Yes.
And goes.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I can't do
Yeah,
this.
same thing.
Well, this is
Which
what.
this is like this is really good what you're doing, but for everyone who has to be LBP registered in the whole country.
I know. Well, that's what several of, when I was travelling around last week, quite a few of them said the MB should actually be paying people to do presentations like this right throughout the country, because it's all very well putting these things in, but for people that are, it's just so many of the construction, you know, a huge percentage are not IT savvy. I mean, I'm not
I
IT
didn't even know
savvy.
how to do all this. Like I clicked on it and looked at it and I was just like, man,
Yeah, switched off.
And then so when
Come
you
back
said,
to
I'll hold the thing, I was like, sweet, I'll come. And now it's easy as to me,
Yes.
because I know what to do.
Yeah. So
But I'd have to show him 10 times even before he can log in.
Yeah.
He can't even
Well,
log
the
in.
older you are, the worse it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I looked
total.
into it at the start, I thought, oh shit, we've got a muck again. Till you find out how to work the thing, just like you've shown, and then it all becomes easy again. But that browse and then put the file into,
Yeah, well, he can't,
so where the file come from, that's what the question
but he can't even make a file.
No.
He can't make a file.
So he will be
computer.
the printing it all off, which is still a bit of a pain. You've got to print it off if you don't have a printer, and if you've got photos, you've got to go and
just send it by letter. Which I did with my first one.
Post it all.
First one is posted away.
Because he doesn't know how to put
No.
the photo from his phone onto his computer.
No, that's right. Yeah,
So
take it into
these
the
guys
chemist
just
and
getting it
yes,
free,
it is.
man.
It is.
Wow.
A lot of people
It's
sort of feel
ridiculous.
that.
Like, yeah, but it's really good what you're doing. Like, this is awesome.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
But for like him and
No,
and a lot of tradesmen.
And we do
a lot of
need to,
chance.
we do need to probably
We've already
put
done
something
that trade
together.
Yeah.
Something together for those that do it manually. I mean, it would be if it was photos, it would be a case of going down and dropping your, what did we used to do? Drop them into the chemist or the
Develop it,
Photoshop,
yeah.
and they'll develop them, and then you'd have to somehow
But it's
go
he's
somewhere
got
where
to
there's
do
a
that.
photo.
Yeah, we're like, I'm not doing that.
It is difficult. Right, so we'll just finish off that session.